welcome to another episode of The Best Damn Coach. These are always my favorite episodes because I'm bringing on an amazing human live and we get to coach. I'm going to be coaching you today around a sticking point that we kind of came together on months ago. So it's just fun that it's all coming full circle. So I'm excited to have Monina join. So welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate allowing me to be on your platform because you are such an amazing human yourself, and I just really respect all that you've done and helped with other people. So excited to be here.
Oh, thank you. I am so grateful for your words. So I want to go back to how we even met. I'm trying to remember, I guess the first time was at the December event, but I feel like I really got to know you. As you guys know, listeners, I joined a mastermind for the year. And in the early part of 2025, we had a week long retreat in Palm Springs. And she does lots of things, but one of the amazing things she does is she's a makeup artist. And she got to do my makeup for a photo shoot for the day. And we just got to chit chatting. Her energy is just so beautiful and caring and loving. And through the week, we definitely exchanged some similarities. We met again in Palo Alto recently, and we got into this great conversation just around how you kind of see your business growing and expanding. And I said, you should come on my podcast. We should talk about this live and use this as a coaching opportunity because I think you're going to learn a lot and gain a lot. And also, everybody listening to this episode is going to gain so much too, because I think there's so many people that struggle with what you're struggling with. So
Yeah.
thanks for being a guinea pig.
No, thanks for having me. I am a little nervous, but I'm excited at the same time. So,
Oh yeah, don't be nervous. It's totally chill.
okay.
We're all here just to help each other out.
Okay.
I would love for you to start out by just sharing with the audience what do you do right now, and give us a little 90-second overview of Monina.
90 seconds, real quick. So I started off as a makeup artist, like we just talked about. And then a few years back, I decided I wanted to incorporate skincare too. So I went back to my esthetician license. And so now I have a skincare studio, makeup studio in California. I've had teaching background. I love to teach. So especially now that I've been in the industry for over 20 years, I've done a lot of from editorial makeup to bridal. That's how I started, to TV, film, all the things. And I love it. I do love what I do. But now in this season of life, I feel like I have so much knowledge, and I want to pass that knowledge on to the next generation, especially because I didn't have that type of mentorship. I think after COVID, I really saw an explosion of mentorship and coaching, which is why I'm so glad I met you, because there's so many amazing women out there who have the heart to help people, especially struggling through the parts of a business that they don't understand. And I had to learn all that on my own. So everything was through trial and error, falling on my face, back up. And I just feel like after 20 years of being in the beauty industry, I have a lot to offer. And in fact, I have mentored, I don't even know how many amazing artists who've gone on to even surpass what I've done. And I'm just proud of them. And I'm so happy that I got to be part of their journey. But in the flip, thinking, I could really share this with so many more people. And also, nothing wrong with monetizing it. So,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
So I really want to, even though I don't see myself as a coach, I feel like I have the expertise now and the heart. I really do want to teach inspiring makeup artists or single moms or moms that just are and having to do 2 or 3 jobs. Because if you guys don't know, in my industry, it's hard to profit. Even if you're like a hairstylist in on, we're not taught in cosmetology school how to do the business. And I feel like it's really really sad. I've looked at some of the research where it's like 6 months after most people get their state board, they go back to a desk job because they just don't know how to do the business and bring clients in. So I feel like I do have that side of it as well as the side. And so, yeah, that's kind of where my passion is now. I want to create online courses and be able to offer it up to seasoned artists as well as new and graduating artists and dermatologist and an esthetician. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Amazing. Okay, good. You already have said some things that have my eyebrow up and curious for sure. So, as we dive deeper into coaching, now that we have some context, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
What would you love to walk away with tangibly today before we end this episode? For you to end this episode and be like, "Oh, Amanda, you brought me so much insert whatever." What would you want as an outcome?
As an outcome, I really want to solidify who I need to bring this knowledge to so that I can now go all in as far as marketing and promoting and really knowing that I'm hitting the right target audience who's going to benefit from all of the teaching and coaching that I want to offer them.
Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Okay, excellent. All right, I'm going to keep asking some questions.
Sure.
So, you already have your courses built out, or they're just built out in your mind up to this point?
So during COVID, I actually created two, and I beta tested with just a handful of students that were interested enough to at least do the beta. So I do have, I feel like a skeleton of one for sure that I would like to go back and look at all the feedback that I got from the beta and update it. So I do have like
Okay, cool.
the skeleton of one ready to go.
And tell me more of that one. Let's focus on that one first because I think that will help us also lead
Sure.
into the second. Tell me more about what that course is about and what the outcome a student who went through that, what are the outcomes they would leave with?
So this was really something that I got as far as feedback that actually made me feel good was a lot of them said it was all the boring stuff that nobody wants to do when it comes to the business of beauty, but it was the most impactful information that they walked away with. So my compared to other online beauty courses is different in that I don't spend a lot of time on the front. I spend a lot of time on something as simple but unknown to new artists as you need a business license. You need, you know where to go. You have to pay your taxes. You have to figure out what entity you're going to do if you're going to be a sole proprietor, LLC. A lot of these women don't even understand what that means. So it's all the non-sexy parts of this, but it's the most impactful and I think most important part that most
Okay.
people in my industry don't know anything about. Yeah,
Okay, cool. So it's kind of the foundational business building things.
correct. Yes.
And I want to also ask, because just to clarify language, you call it a course. What does course mean to you specifically?
When you say course to me, I'm thinking modules that it's either going to be live or an evergreen course that you're going to
Okay.
go back to. Mm-hmm.
And so you envision them going through it all on their own with no live support from Monina. They just buy it, they do it, and that's it,
Uh,
right?
well, I do want to add the component of me. So whether that's inviting them to a private Facebook page where they can then come and ask me later. Absolutely. Because for me, that also the other hard thing was even though I may have over the years found a coach who could kind of hold my hand temporarily, once they left me, I still had questions. And I wish so much that I still had access to their brain and mentorship. But, once I took a course or
Yeah, for
two,
sure.
they were gone or I even had them, personally. So I definitely want to add to the course as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the long-term vision? Is this just like you want to sell a few of these a month to add a revenue stream? Do you want to be all in and leave like seeing clients, esthetician and makeup clients in person? Would it be 50-50 like 3 years from now? What's your dream vision of how this goes?
Years from now, I honestly, I would love because now my kids are grown, off to college, and I've done the business thing, I've done the thing. I still want my feet in the industry, but the body can only take So I really would love to just not stop working, just maybe want to utilize what I know through the form of workshops, speaking, and impacting people that way, to just me being behind the chair in the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So maybe it's shifting to where you're seeing your behind the chair work is 25% and maybe
Mm-hmm.
the other 75% is teaching, coaching, speaking,
Absolutely.
that kind of stuff. That does that seem fair? Okay.
That would be
So you're
great.
kind of looking to make it go from 100% to kind of 75-25 split, because this does dictate the conversation a lot. Because if you would tell me it doesn't dictate the who, but it does dictate the effort and the building of the brand
Mm-hmm.
and the monetization of what you're doing. Because if you just want a couple extra sales to trickle in a month, that isn't the same as saying I want to completely shift the revenue stream over time, because I do think you're going to have to really be intentional,
Mm-hmm.
with your ideal client.
Yes.
So, okay, this is beautiful, lovely, all these great answers. So thank you for giving me all of
Mm-hmm.
the background. I want to start with just this notion of course idea, and both for your listenership or for your benefit, but also for the listeners.
Mm-hmm.
the the I don't want to say the course world is dead. It's not. People are selling courses all the time, but they are not without some sort of additional support. And I think that, 10 years ago, coursework was new and online education was new. And now, thanks to COVID and just time, right now there are, the markets are more saturated, which means, from my opinion, most people aren't struggling with access to information, especially now. I could go to ChatGPT right now and say, I want to become an esthetician. I want to start a business. Tell me the next 5 things I need to do. And it would lay out, you need to get a business license. You need to, da, 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 right? You and I both know, well, I think you know this, that it's not the information. My people that are in my programs could do the exact same thing. They could go search, and some will. But where we struggle is in the crevices, in the nooks and crannies of where we begin to go and implement.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a client that gets pissed off because
Mm-hmm.
they don't get the great service that they had wanted, or they don't like the outcome, right? Or, they have some weird reaction to skincare or whatever it is. Like, how do I handle that?
Right.
Or, hey, I had this huge month or this low month. What do I do? How do I handle this for taxes? Like, all those outlier questions are where they really need us when things are not so black and white. And so the fact that that's why I asked, like, what's your vision around your life and around the coursework? Because I think it's a really important element that you be present in it in some capacity. I
Yeah.
like the idea of a Facebook group. I think that's kind of a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
What I like even more is maybe even 2 times a month, or every week, or whatever you decide eventually, where you just have office hours and you
Yeah.
don't even have to create content yet, where you just show up
Yeah.
and be the ambassador for your brand and for the coursework, and you are just there to love on your people.
Yeah.
um I find that to be like a critical, element of this in this more hybrid course coaching format.
I love it. Yeah, because I do want to still be hands on, and because for me, how I learn is I'll learn something, but then questions come up, and I want to feel like I have a support system where I can go and ask those questions. So yes, I want to be able to offer that
Absolutely.
to my as well. Mm-hmm.
And strategically, the other thing that I love about this for you and for me and for all people is you don't have it yet, but who knows, in 5 years you could be hosting a beauty business mastermind where you just
Right.
take 8 to 10 like
Mm-hmm.
really elite students. And so we also, I know this is the data that I get from my people. My two kind of lower ticket offers, the small by offer method and the framework builder lab. When you join those things, you get 6 weeks of live coaching, six
Mm-hmm.
consecutive weeks of live coaching. And by far, the feedback is this is the magic.
Mm.
Like I would have paid thousands of dollars for that, is what some clients, will share with me. But the reason I do that is I love my people and I like to work with people. So it's fun
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
But it also is a very natural upsell into
Yeah.
our next offer, right?
Okay.
Which is the best damn coach. And I don't really have to work for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to talk about it, that it's
Yeah.
a next step. So I
Right.
also really love that for you because in that instance, they opt into this beauty beginners course. They're going to see you, they're going to trust you. And when you do create a higher ticket, or maybe they even, your higher ticket is one to one
Mhm.
eventually, where you're just taking on clients one to one, at least they have you're there with them. And then we can figure out like what's a next step that they could potentially take.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. It's because you're almost naturally vetting people before they even go on to your higher ticket or your next, because to them it's a no brainer. So yeah, that makes total sense. Okay.
Yeah. It's a no-brainer if you deliver well,
Yeah.
which I know you will.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and I love how you said
Okay,
beauty
awesome.
business math, because that's definitely been on my list too. I would love to have something like that.
Yeah. Okay, I love it, which is going to feed into our overall conversation. So, now let's talk about maybe the confusion that's existing on the audience and
Mm-hmm.
who we're really speaking to, and how we can play this out. I want to ask you a question. Who do you feel as though you can serve? Hold on, I'm going to reverse. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to a business owner who owns a beauty business, that is not a one size fits all, because there are Moninas out there that have been doing this for 20 years. There's people that maybe are 5 to 6 years in, they're tapped out, they're overwhelmed, they're thinking they've done something wrong because they're working all these hours and not making money, as much money as they want. And then you have the beginners that are coming out of beauty school that are maybe just seeing their family and some friends, right?
Right.
And they're starting to kind of build this client roster. So I want you to think this is a diversity, and all of these people need very different things. And
Yeah.
so I want you to answer the next questions through the lens of who can you serve the best, but also who is willing and able and wants to pay and perceive that they need this support. So this is a big thing to think of. Are you this came into my brain. Are you familiar with the concept of ikigai?
Yeah.
Ikigai, I might be saying it
Yeah.
wrong. The
Yeah.
Japanese concept. Okay.
Yeah.
So right, the four parts of it should be like, we really want to think about what you love,
Mm-hmm.
Monina the person, what people actually need, what the world needs,
Yeah.
what you're really the best at, but also what people are going to pay for.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you think about that, who is your person on the spectrum? Like, who is it that you're really seeking?
See, this is the part that I run into conflict because I my where people that could most benefit are those newbies, but I feel like they don't even know what they don't know. They don't even know they need this because they're coming out with a license, and now they just think that, okay, I'm just going to open the doors, or I'm going to rent a chair and people are going to come to me. And they don't know the first thing about the business side. So my I want to help them. But what I've found is because they don't even understand they need that, there's no interest there. Then we have the seasoned esthetician makeup artist. Maybe they've been doing it for a year or two, and maybe it's a part-time gig, or they're still not making enough so that it's their full-time job and they side jobs. I feel like they are starting to understand, okay, there's something missing and I need help. So I feel like they would actually be the ones that have the discretionary income and would want to invest in my course as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's somewhere in between two categories that is where they would, I feel like I can make the most impact. And yeah, that's where I'm, because I still guest lecture at lots of beauty colleges, and I've promoted the business side. I've talked about how they're going to need to know. And it's like, it's crickets. Like they don't, it's almost like it just goes over their head. And they're like, guys, you need this. But, and then there's but then I don't know really how to find those other seasoned ones open and want this and know they want it. I need to find them type of thing. So that's
Yeah.
where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. That's why I want to have this discussion, because I think you are hitting the nail on the head. Is you know, it's like people coming out like kids coming out of college. We can see this now, but when you're in your early 20s, which many people, not all people coming out of beauty school are in their mid 20s. I don't want to generalize, but you kind of feel
Hmm.
like you know everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And just like people coming out of coaching certifications, they know everything. And then they're out there trying to market themselves and they're falling flat or they have a few clients. But it's kind of, this is how I would really want to tell you to think of it is I want you to think your best client is the one that has like a splinter in their foot.
Mm,
So what I mean by that is every day the problem they're facing, it's like this low pain that is just so persistent. And all it's going to take is a few tweaks, but they are just like, I can't go on with this consistent pain. And that consistent pain for your people is no different than my people. Typically, it's that they're doing all these things, they're showing up at the salon every day, but when they're getting their paychecks at the end of the day, they're like, man, I was just on my feet for 8 hours and all I have to say for it is $300 or $400.
right.
And on the inside, they're probably like one pricing away or
Hmm.
one pricing shift or one scheduling shift or something away from having a massive shift in their revenue. Would that be true for you?
Yes, very true.
Yeah. So I think that you're spot on with it's not the people that have been doing it for a long time or even 10 years or 5 years. It's not actually even necessarily a time issue. It's
Mm,
the issue is that they've been trying, they've been seeing clients, they're on their feet all day and they don't feel like it's paying what they
hmm.
thought they would make in beauty school.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, they've
And
been out there and long, like you said, where they've realized, okay, I don't know everything. I think there's this thing that they don't know what it is. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, because my brain's already like, I see this whole framework. I don't know anything about your coursework or anything, but for me, a course is built on a framework. And it's like step one, make sure you have the basics. Like, did you properly insure your business?
Yeah.
Are you LLC proprietor? Do you understand taxes? Because sometimes it's
Yeah.
not actually about, for many
Hmm.
of them, making more money.
Hmm.
It's that they're overspending on product. They have
Exactly.
unnecessary subscriptions. They are not focusing on profit, they're focusing on revenue, right? And
Right.
then the other thing is like, client communication systems. Like, are they doing a planner by hand? Are they texting their clients? Do they know how to set boundaries? Like all of these things that you could teach them that are at least going to get them, even if they could get an hour and a half back, then they
Right.
could see one more client and make
Yeah.
more money,
Exactly.
right? Are we on the
Yes.
same page?
Totally on the same page because I've been through all that. Like I actually invested in certain parts of the business that I wasn't like just hiring a CPA who looked at my balance sheets and looked at my profit, my revenue, and so many places where I was bleeding money, just spending money I didn't even need to be spending. And then there were months where she's like, "You did it here, okay? Let's see what you did, well, and let's keep doing that." I mean, that was my zone of genius that I realized, okay, I need a team. I need the people that are going to help me. And when you said the foundation, laying down the foundation, I feel part of it is having that support system for you. Because you're not going to know absolutely everything, but you got to know when you need to delegate and what power you're going to need to have in your corner. So, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Or even entering in additional revenue streams
Right.
from products or
Right.
devices or
Yes.
things,
Right.
right, that exist where you don't really know what you don't know. Or as a 22-year-old, you didn't know when you were going and you were buying product from your stylist that she was taking 15% of that, which I love for my stylist. I
Yeah.
want her. If she's showing me the product, she should be. So I just
Yeah.
think there's so much opportunity here for you. But what I would say is that for most people, I was wondering to know what you were going to say, but you led me down like the perfect validation of this is just because we can support everybody in in that spectrum doesn't mean we should,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
Like
Right.
I don't help coaches just starting out who aren't sure of who they want to coach.
Mm. Okay.
I am happy for them that they're coming into coaching, but by the time they work with me, they should be able to have a good idea of who they're serving. They should have already coached some clients, at least, in their coaching certification, or maybe even some pro bono clients. I really like to have in BDC, I want you need to be have paid clients under your belt,
Yeah.
right? I
Right.
don't want the beginners. And I'm also actually, unless it's private work in the BDC, I don't have coaches in there that are making a half a million or more, because those conversations are entirely different.
Different. Yeah.
Not to say I can't support those people, but
Right.
that's not who my ideal client is. And
Hmm.
I don't think for you, I think that we are falling into the same
Yeah.
kind of category.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely agree. I agree. Hmm.
The cool thing about getting clarity on this person, right? It's not necessarily an age thing.
Mm.
I think we've locked in it's most likely female, potentially, based on what you've said. But the really cool part about talking to that person is, if you do decide to launch something higher ticket, like let's say through your program, the goal is to help you make six figures in a year, or 50K,
Mm.
or whatever you feel like, or you don't even have to talk numbers.
Right.
You could even say to like fill your chair or to
Hmm.
fill your table consistently and make it feel easier. Is it lends itself really nicely to, once they're making 100K, for you to pull in
Mm.
maybe a higher ticket mastermind,
Right.
because that's already going to be under your nose, because the people that are in this kind of program have already checked that box.
Got it. Okay. Make.
So I look at it as, what I always say, is an ascension. You want to make sure that the people coming in at the top of your ecosystem make sense. I don't really want you to be talking to the newbies at all,
Okay.
right? Like, because that person isn't the prime fit for the ideal program that you're building.
Okay.
So you would have to spend longer time convincing them
Yeah.
that you need their program, rather than attracting a person that's already got that splinter in their foot, that knows they aren't making 100K. And if they are, it's exhausting and they're working way too hard for it. There's got to be a better way.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm writing really
Um,
fast here. Okay.
Don't worry, you're gonna have the episode and you can listen to it, and
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It won't be live for a while, so I'll send you the link, though,
Okay.
privately, so that you could go back and listen as well. Um, I wanna pause, though, and just kinda check in. Do you have any thoughts or questions that have come up so far?
Uh, no, you're giving me, you're just helping me figure out, okay, who, based on what you just said, let me know if I'm understanding this. Like, I need to know my higher clientele is, and then it's an ascension, basically, like you're doing, right? Like, this would be my top ideal client, and then kind of reverse engineer what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that you don't really have to reverse engineer. This is your ideal client. And what will happen by means of serving them with this program, you're
Hmm.
going to create the next tier or higher level of client based on the results you get them, that
Oh,
would perfectly position them to
okay.
move into more of like a mastermind elite program.
Okay. Got it. Makes sense. Okay.
Because that's what's happening organically inside of the Best Damn Coach. Is I've had a couple, a lot of the girls now for 2 years, they're making consistent six-figure plus revenue.
Hmm.
Now I'm almost getting to the point where I'm ready to pull a cut. Like, I used to host a mastermind years ago and let it go because it was too broad. And now I'm like, ooh, we're getting to the point now where I'm ready to pull an elite group of people together and start focusing on ads and scalability and deeper systems.
Okay.
That isn't necessarily a conversation that collectively we're ready to go deep into with the whole group
Okay.
sometimes.
Okay. Got it. All right.
Um, my other thought, if it's okay that I offer this, is the use of the word course.
Mm-hmm.
So the use of the word course for me does presuppose it's self-paced and you go through it on your own.
Mm.
I would love to see you use a different word like program or
Okay.
community
Okay.
or accelerator or something like that.
Okay.
I teach this more deeply in the Framework Builder Lab because it's an important part of, you know, ideally, I want you to be teaching Monina's method inside of Monina's program.
Okay. Yeah, I like
Uh,
that.
does that make sense? Because
Yeah.
course does. That's why I was asking you around that. Course kind of is like one and done,
Yeah.
and people love community. People
Yeah.
love to be a part of something. People want to know that you're there instructing them.
Yeah.
And so when you're able to use the words program in there, it's going to convey more of you in it.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, and I want to convey that. I want them to know I'm going to be there.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
How are we doing?
Very good.
Are
Yeah.
you feeling more clarity? Are we getting to the outcome? What questions are still like what kind of loose ends do you have?
I guess, like you said, my zone of genius is the framework. I feel like I don't have a solid framework as far as what I'm going to deliver because the other issue I have is I've stood up a couple of times my topics because I'm really good at is bridal business, like the beauty bridal business.
Mm,
That's very niche. And so I thought, well, maybe that's too niche. Maybe I need to expand and talk about the business of beauty altogether. But then there's just I just feel like I get too much information and I feel like I don't really have a good framework that I'm working for. Um, so yeah, that's where the two courses was more like overall beauty. The other one was more of a niche. This is how you break into the bridal industry, how you're going to hit those 6-figure, and I've done it for over 20 years. So I feel comfortable
yeah.
talking about it. So yeah, yeah,
So this is my perspective and my opinion. I would hand so the thing I'm always looking at is how do I help my coaches become the purple duck,
okay.
right? And
Yeah,
so yellow ducks are talking about beauty businesses. It's really not like a lot of people are doing that. But now, if you are talking to me specifically about growing a bridal beauty business and hair and makeup, because you do both,
right.
and there's so many girls that do both
Yeah.
and are talented, and it makes sense to do both.
Mm-hmm.
And in a weekend or on one day would go crush it and bring home multiple four figures.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's how you position yourself as the expert. And you've literally are a walking, breathing example of being able to do that, bringing in six figures for years. I mean, I love that this came up. For me, it's an easy, of course, you would talk about the bridal industry specifically. It's not going anywhere. That's
Right.
the really cool thing
Yeah.
is that is not going anywhere. Brides are going to get married. You're not even in jeopardy of AI.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's
Right.
the really cool thing,
Right.
and that's actually a selling point where I would say, "Hey, like, they're gonna like, we are needed now more than
Yeah.
ever to make this experience unique and special,"
Right.
and I
Yeah.
think that that's premium prices for them, and it's premium prices for you.
Because also prior to COVID, I used to tell everyone the bridal is recession proof. Because even in a recession, women are still getting
Mhm.
married. They're getting the money somewhere. And even though COVID was a recession, it did show slowing down, but that was like a totally thing. But I still did weddings, very limited because I wasn't allowed to, but I had people wanting. So now I love how you're
Yeah.
saying it's AI proof, well as recession proof. So I like that. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, it's totally I can see this just so well for you, and I think that being able to really hit that niche around is like how to build, I can see like bridal beauty accelerator.
Yeah.
How it's like how to make your first 100K
Mm-hmm.
feel easy as a beauty bridal stylist or something like that.
I
You
like
just
that.
nailed it, I think.
Yeah, I
You're
like
pretty
that.
close. Um, and so I would really encourage you to pursue that. That's you, and it's very authentic. It feels very in integrity,
Yeah.
because you're not over here trying to talk. I mean, I know you've done editorial and other work and stuff like that, but you're not over here trying to talk about how to do model makeup and follow models around or
Mm,
whatever the case is. That's not your bag,
no.
right? You could do it. You just
Yeah.
couldn't speak to it as real and as possible. And the work life balance, and you've had a family and you've done this and you've worked on weekends. And
Hmm.
what does that take in? And how do you balance that?
Right.
Like, those are important conversations that you can offer and value you can offer an insight.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And see, when you talk, now that you're talking the bridal and niching down, I'm more excited because that's where
Good, good. That's
yeah,
good news.
yeah, I'll
Let
mainly,
the body speak to us a little.
yeah, mainly because that's where I have seen, like good months, right? Because I've always had the wedding business on the side in conjunction with my skincare. My skincare was more of my, um, following, like I could count on income, but my bridal business is what gave me that extra cushion, and I could take time off and I could go on vacation with my family and, stuff like that. So, and that's where I feel like a lot of makeup artists will get a lot of bang for their effort, is focusing on bridal.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And the other piece to this is when you think about building a framework, let's use a non-example, that's not bridal. We'll go, let's go somebody, a photographer, right? A photographer who's building a business to teach other photographers to build to grow their photography business is good.
mm-hmm,
But if we say this photographer now is specializing in senior portraits,
mm-hmm,
right? The way they talk about what they do as a photographer then looks very different from all encompassing photography
mm-hmm.
than if they're only shooting senior portraits, right? Because
Okay.
now we can speak to the pain points of the parent, right?
Mm-hmm,
This is your last opportunity to like capture your senior in this like moment of their life.
mm-hmm,
Like, these are memories that you're going to have forever. Like, there's very different languaging
mm-hmm.
when you are talking in business in generalities versus specifics,
Yeah,
right? So now if we move to you, if you're building a framework for a beauty business, it's going to sound great still if it's more generic for a makeup artist. Even a hairstylist is going to be different than a makeup artist.
yeah,
And now, if we can go even more specific into a beauty business, now we're very clear the framework is going to look very different than if we were talking about one of those other two categories.
right, right. Okay,
So, specificity in your messaging is so key because it qualifies the ideal person immediately.
okay.
Is that helpful?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
feel that, hear that, see that?
It, like you said, I get more excited when I know I can on my expertise in the bridal industry, because that's a total jam. I could talk about that in my sleep, and I totally believe in the profitability of it. That's the other thing. So yeah,
Belief is huge, so that's amazing.
yeah.
I love this. This is so exciting. Any lingering questions? Anything that you feel like you want to make sure we hit on?
um, no, I guess the only thing now is, how do I now start to find the the people, and who do I now start to, because I'm trying to figure out, okay, where can I position myself, whether it's a workshop or even Facebook or have you, to now find that person with the splinter in their foot.
Yeah, totally. That's great. I mean, that's organically, yeah, it's marketing, right?
Yeah.
Is this is the question that we all are is where are my ideal clients
Hmm.
at? How do I go find them?
Yeah.
And I mean, totally separate conversation, a much longer one, but I think the thing to start just asking yourself is I would take your homework from here would be to maybe spend some time just typing out and journaling
Hmm.
even to about this person or speaking it into chat GPT, or if you
Okay.
use AI at all,
Yeah.
just that version of her, and then asking ourselves, where are they? I love that you're speaking at beauty schools or junior colleges. I think it's great. I don't think those people are your ideal client right now,
No.
but what that does is build credibility.
Mm-hmm.
I would be trying to speak at certifications or trainings. Maybe you can go into, I feel like in Arizona, at least where I'm at, there's so many salon like suites,
Yeah.
and I know some of them do education. Can you go in and teach something about, that's like from your framework? I would get on as many podcasts that are
Yeah.
beauty related where your ideal listeners are listening to.
Okay.
I would go to networking events where beauty, professionals are. Those are all important places for you to show up in addition to kind of building your own media, right? Which would be social content and leveraging your podcast,
Yeah.
right? I want to see you talking specifically about what it is you do. And now you have way more clarity to speak to that person on the podcast specifically.
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely weave that into our topics for sure.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
All right. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't think
Yeah.
about the salon suites. That's an amazing idea. Yeah, there's so many salon suites all
Yay.
around me.
Sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah. Sometimes I come up with good ideas occasionally.
That kind of blew my mind right there because I already know people in salon suites that I could like talk to already. So yeah, that's perfect. Okay.
Awesome.
Love it.
I love it. I'm so glad you're taking away so many nuggets. I would love for you to just share where you're at. Obviously, your service is in person, but you're growing your availability to serve people beyond just your hometown. So tell
Yeah.
us where you're at and how anybody listening can connect with you.
Oh, great. Yeah. So I'm in San Jose, California in the Bay Area. I have a skincare and makeup studio here in Willow Glen. So if anybody's from this area, please, yeah, look me up. I do everything from soaps to waxing to makeup and hair. My business is called Modern. So please, yeah, please reach out. And we do have a podcast too. It's the Beauty Lab podcast.
Shout it out. Talk about it.
The Beauty
What's
Lab
it called?
podcast.
Say-
The Beauty
Perfect.
Lab podcast. Yeah, and we're a baby podcast, and we hit 1,000 downloads for the first time. So super excited about that.
Yay! Congrats.
Thanks.
Big deal. It's a big milestone. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
And we'll put the in the show notes. I'll put the link to your podcast and put the link for to check out how to book with you as well. So thank you for just being vulnerable and sharing and opening yourself to being coached and seeing things in a different way. It just speaks so much to your desire to serve. And thank you for letting other people learn from you too.
Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.